This is Block 8, Pax Americana, Section 2, the beginning of the Cold War, with the section Occupation Zones. After Hitler committed suicide, there was a German government in power very briefly, and then when Germany signed the Instruments of Unconditional Surrender, Germany failed to have a government. It was no longer a state. It was simply an area of Europe occupied by the victorious Allied powers. And those victorious Allied powers instituted military government over the German state, over the German population. Originally at Yalta, Germany had been divided into 3 zones. The Western Allies carved a piece of their zones out to create a French zone. So there was 4 different zones governing Germany. Let's take a look at the map, what we see over here. This section over here, this light beigey section, that land was taken away from Germany and given to Poland. This traditionally up here, this is East Prussia. This is traditional heart of Germany and German culture. But as the Soviets swept westwards during the war, it was pretty much cleansed of Germans completely. And there's very little trace of 1,000 years of German culture in East Prussia today. It's simply part of Poland. The Poles also gained 150 miles of territory here. And then the divisions. You see up in the northwest corner, you have the British section. In the south is the American section with a French section there. And in the east part of Germany is a Soviet section. There were difficulties and inefficiencies, but the Western powers ran Germany fairly, firmly but fairly. While the Soviets kind of took their opportunity and they pretty much stripped East Germany of most of its heavy industry, its rails, its factories, and shipped them back to the Soviet Union to kind of serve as reparations for all the damage that the Germans had done in the Soviet Union. Now, these divisions are not meant to be permanent. These are not supposed to be permanent divisions. But as the Cold War descended, this division would become permanent. And it would become permanent because Germany was divided. Germany was divided into a West Germany and an East Germany. Here's the 3 powers that control the western part of Germany: France, Great Britain, and the United States. And they were sovereign over Germany for 3 years until 1948. In 1948, they introduced a new currency, the Deutschmark, and that kind of was the symbol that Germany was now again sovereign on its own. That a constitution was written, a peaceful constitution, a federal system was created. That it follows in some respects the United States Constitution. That Germany became a federal republic. A federal system was created. There were strict rules about arms and armaments and general staffs and all the things about militaries. Pretty much the Germans weren't allowed to have one. But the capital of this new West Germany was at Bonn, down here in the American section, and it became the sovereign nation of West Germany. The Soviets took their section of Germany and created the country of East Germany as they tightened their grip on the eastern zone. They introduced a government dominated by Moscow, a communist government, and communist economics of central planning were introduced to East Germany, and it became kind of its own sovereign because it was controlled by Moscow, sovereign country in 1949, and its capital was in the divided city of Berlin, which we're going to talk about in a few moments. Look carefully here. In the heart of East Germany is the German capital of Berlin, and Berlin, although it is well within the Soviet section of Germany, the eastern section of Germany, East Germany, Berlin itself is also divided 4 ways. So the occupation zones of Germany soon became permanent, even though West Germany was again an independent country, East Germany was an independent country. They split, the Cold War split right down the middle of Germany as the Western Allies created and supported West Germany, and the Soviets created and supported East Germany.